I made it today 18, 17, 18. I made it today 18 of the diet. And then chocolate. Chocolate and raspberry croissant and an extra decaf latte and some popcorn with a lot of butter on it. That's what happened. um, so let's talk about it. Um, Things were going super well. I was eating well, not having to track anything. The diet was super simple. It was working so well with how crazy stressed out my life was with work and work planning. And then work planning got even more intense. And instead of just sticking with what I was doing, I caved. My period is supposed to start, so that could be going on, but I am in perimenopause, so who knows if it'll actually come or not. But I worked really late. I had 2 major submissions on the same day. I did get them both in, but it was like 11:45 p.m. And then I couldn't go to sleep because I was wired from the adrenaline of trying to get these things submitted. And so I stayed up until like 1:30 watching watercolor paint swatching videos because I really love pink watercolor paints. And there's something so relaxing about you get the paper wet and then you put the paint on it and you watch how the paint moves in the water. It's so relaxing. I love it. So that's what happened. Also, at that same time, I've been texting a picture of all of the food that I was eating to my coach, my trainer, just to get in the habit of taking a picture of my food, of like not judging it, I guess, just one more data point sending it, and also the accountability. That really does work for me. So she was going on vacation to Alaska and her phone wasn't going to work, while she's on the cruise ship in the middle of the ocean. So she said, keep tracking, but, don't send me the photos. So that coincided with all of this happening. I'm sure that was not accidental. So now I'm just figuring out how I feel about all of it. I also did my measurements, and I gained slightly, like 0.2 centimeters around my waist and belly button and flank, I think, and I lost in my butt. So I don't know, could be the measurements, could be water. I have not been drinking water all week with how busy work has been. It's just been non-stop. And also I've been doing these with the chicken breast. If I put like a seasoning, my dad has all of these meat seasoning rub things. So putting that on my chicken and then putting it in the air fryer, the food tastes good. It tastes like restaurant level good to me. I told my dad that the other day. But maybe that's because it's full of sodium and I'm just possibly eating more sodium. So there's a number of different factors I could check out to see which one will turn the dial on getting me where I want to go. Maybe I'm just underslept, inflamed, underhydrated, over-sodiumed, or maybe I've gained some fat. Although, honestly, it was like 2 days, and I'm at enough of a deficit. I don't think it would matter. And last night, I had chocolate chips, and I had like a bowl of popcorn with a lot of butter. Usually in my normal life, I'll eat popcorn, but I don't put butter on it. And when I got into bed, I was laying in bed about to fall asleep, and I was feeling hunger. So I still do think even with all of that variation, I still think that I'm in a calorie deficit for the week, significant one. So I think a lot of it is like water fluctuations. And also if I am in that, is it luteal phase? I think that's called the luteal phase. Also you retain water. So I'm just like, there's all these factors, and the real clincher is what happens next. Do I just go back to the way that I'm eating for the challenge, or do I say, oh, I've already messed up, so I might as well just continue messing up? But I don't want to do that. And this morning I woke up and I had my breakfast. Actually, the chicken breast that I had went bad, so I like pulled it out of the fridge, smelled it, didn't smell right, threw it in the trash, and then I could have used that as an excuse, actually, thinking about it now, to just be like, oh, I'll just eat whatever I want. But I didn't. Took my potato out of the fridge, mashed it, put it in the pan with no oil, added salt, cooked it in chicken broth. Once it got a little bit brown on the bottom, add chicken broth to get all of the Maillard reaction off of the bottom of the pan. And then then what? Then I added my eggs and put the lid on so that the eggs get steamed in the broth. And I put some Greek yogurt on top once it got out and it gets kind of like melty. I love Greek yogurt because and cottage cheese, which I'm not eating right now, but those things give me the cheesy richness I need in my life. So anyway, that's what I had for breakfast. Lower in protein because it didn't have the chicken, but I did have 3 eggs. Normally I would have 2, but not eating the chicken. I had 3 eggs and the Greek yogurt. And I'll go to the grocery store today and get what I need for the week, prep it out, and I keep thinking next week's the last week because I miscalculated when I was looking at my calendar last night. It's not. I'm like, but I have only 10 days left. So, wait, no. Yeah, today is day 20 of 30 days. So I just have 10 days left. It's not that far away. Weight-wise, things have been really interesting. I got all the way down to 173 pounds, which was a surprise. I was not expecting to get, my goal was 175, starting at like 182, 180. But yesterday I was like 180, 178, and today was 176, or maybe 179, 178. Anyway, I'm certainly back up higher, though not over what I was when I started, and definitely still within the range for what my goal was, which losing like 5 to 7 pounds in 30 days. That's kind of insane, isn't it? But no, it's possible. It's possible. Anyway, it's frustrating. I feel frustrated because I am like, this is a really extreme diet. I'm not usually into this kind of stuff. I don't believe in quick fixes. But I just wanted to have some fast momentum so that I could be like, oh, this is working. and then continue because I was happy, because it was working. I was getting the results I wanted. Obviously, adding back more variety in my vegetables, more variety in my proteins. This is just very few choices, and it really works when things are super stressful. I have one more week of work planning at my job. So after that, I will have more bandwidth in my brain to like meal plan and cook foods and get back to my normal way of eating, which is quite healthy. High protein, lots of vegetables, high fiber. My problem is just like right now, lack of time and lack of mental bandwidth to focus on food, high stress. So my normal pattern is when I'm doing something like work planning and I have to work late at night, I bribe myself with pizza or a burger to do the work in the evening. And now I don't have that available to me. And it's been super interesting to flip the script and say, because I'm busy, because this is a high stress time, I'm going to make my food as simple as possible so I don't waste any brain power on that. And then when I get through this intense period, I won't have paid 5 or 10 pounds to get through it. I won't have paid, a price I don't want to pay to get that result of finishing the work plans. So if I can do the work plans and lose 5 pounds during a very stressful period, that's a good deal. I have less brain power diverted to what are we eating, and so I can focus on the work plans, and then I'm not gaining weight in perimenopause when that fat is metabolically active and like covering my organs and increasing my insulin sensitivity and my risk of diabetes. I don't want to pay all of those prices just to get through work planning. So that feels really good. And when I think about it in that way, all of this is a win, because even though I did cave and eat some chocolate to get through that stressful day on Thursday, and that stressful day on Friday, I had another submission on Friday. So I had 3 in 2 days, which is insane. It's just so much work. And I was so tired yesterday because I got 4.5 hours of sleep. I couldn't even look at the screen. I was so tired. And I was like, do I take a nap and then go to work on it? How am I going to get through this? And I just moved locations. I was working at a coffee shop. I moved back to the house, and I used FocusMate, which is an online accountability kind of Pomodoro working session where you have your video on, but you're muted, and you tell the other person that you're working with what you're going to do in the session, and then at the end you say what you got done. So there's this accountability. You couldn't go to sleep on a session, right? And I got through it. It took till 6 p.m. on Friday, but I got through it. And if the price I paid this time around for work planning to get it out the door was chocolate chips on Thursday, chocolate chips on Friday, a raspberry croissant on Thursday, an extra decaf latte on Thursday, and a bowl of popcorn with a lot of melted butter on it, that price is so much lower than last work planning, which was burger, pizza, margarita, over. And last one was only one country. This work planning season is 4 countries. It's so much bigger. So the cost of it would have been so much higher. So yes, I did not follow the diet
perfectly. But even now, the exponential gains that I have made from just the past 2-3 weeks, the choices I've made in the past 3 weeks of just simplifying everything, huge, absolutely huge. Do the pants that are size 12 fit yet? No, they don't. That's my goal for the end of the challenge. We're not at the end of the challenge yet. Excuse me. They do fit better than they did at the beginning. But that's one of the things of the challenges, just realizing literally how much fat I have actually to lose to be at a healthy waist circumference, and to not have that visceral fat around my organs in perimenopause, which is just a period in life when that becomes so easy. Some easy fixes that I've not been doing, are like sleep and hydration. At least I have the diet. At least I have that, but easy fixes, sleep and hydration. Sleep's a bit hard because of the late work night. It's hard to wind down, but my kids have just started school, so they need to be going to bed earlier. This first week of school, it started on Wednesday, was a bit rough in the mornings. So next week, the work planning should be less intense than this week, knock on wood. So hopefully I can make it work for our schedule that we're all just going to bed much earlier. And then I think a lot of things will fix themselves. I think, the one reason why I went for the chocolate on Friday was because of the poor sleep. That's been scientifically documented that if you have a poor night of sleep, you will have more intense cravings for sugar and fat the next day. I'm thinking about also what I will implement. It's Saturday this morning, so I'm and I got those 3 submissions in, so I'm this is my day of rest. I think it's 10:30 in the morning. I'm doing my morning walk, super late. It feels great. I'm so delighted that I get this day of not having to be anywhere early in the morning. I have not done my walks in the morning this whole past week with the intensity of the work planning, going to bed late, getting my kids out the door in the morning. And that's something I usually do, is a morning walk. So even though my calories have been lower from the food, my movement expenditure has been lower. So if I can get back to walking next week. Also, it's been raining. Fortunately, it's not raining today. It might continue to rain over the next couple of days, but hopefully I can make it work where I will be able to walk. I can walk in the rain. That is an option. But I'd like to be moving more. I've been very sedentary, sitting in front of the screen. I knew that was going to be the case. I could take a break for 5 minutes every hour and move or walk, and that's something I was watching in a YouTube short. Just 5 minutes to 10 minutes of walking 3 times a day, between meetings or even during a meeting, can get you to a 30-minute walk without needing to have, for me, 30 to 45 minutes in the morning before my kids wake up. So that's an option. But again, big picture, if I zoom out, I'm doing great. I'm doing so much better than I would be doing normally. And I've been able to see some behavior patterns and just think I don't have a solution yet, but my behavior pattern when things are stressful are oh my gosh, this is stressful. I need to power through. Go get a burger. The burger is the motivation to get the work done. And so I eat the burger and then I sit there for 4 hours and get it done. A couple times last week and this week before I started with the chocolate, I think it was maybe Monday, I had a submission. Very stressful, late night. And what I did was I did bribe myself with food. It was chicken breast in the air fryer with Greek yogurt, like a savory Greek yogurt. So it was cheesy, it was salty, it was, like what you'd order at a restaurant, but if the chicken was breaded, right? So it sort of scratched that itch, but was much healthier. And again, I feel conflicted. On one hand, that was way better than ordering, I'm trying to think of something. I don't know. Anyway, a fried chicken place, right? I could have done that, spent a ton more calories, or gone out and got a pizza, 1,500 calories of pizza to get through that stressful evening. And I didn't do that. That was a much lower number of calories. Let's say on the high end, 500, probably less. So that's huge. Over time, that 1,000 calorie reduction, 2/3 reduction, will add up. And at the very least, I wouldn't be gaining as much fat. Likely, I would be losing weight. So that's like an exponential improvement and return on my investment. Investing in the lower calorie option. It's also cheaper. Like, there's just a lot of benefits. But on the negative side, I am still using food to bribe myself to do something that is emotionally difficult. There's no physical need to eat at that moment. There's no sustenance need that I have. It is an emotional need. It is avoiding an uncomfortable feeling by relying on a state change that comes from putting calories into my body. So I've been thinking about that. Is there something else I can motivate myself with that's not food? A lot of people talk about like going for walks or moving or getting exercise. So I could, when I feel that stress coming on, just go for a walk. And I have actually, I know I said I haven't been doing my morning walks, but a couple nights this week when there was a break in my work where I'd reached my max capacity limit for what I could do at that moment. There were 2 evenings, I think, last week where I did go on a walk with my daughter as sort of an intermediary period between 2 big tasks. And that was good. It did feel good. I did come back with energy to do the next task. Is it as effective as my current approach? No. Definitely doesn't compete with a big old pizza, big old burger. But it is a thing. Another option is I could paint. But I get so stiff and tired from sitting, and I just am not a human being who's made to sit. I'm a moving person. I'm kinesthetic. I need to move. So I could, a dance interlude, an interlude of doing interpretive dance. That would actually probably make me feel really good. Or yoga. just that in the moment you really don't want to do those things. You just want to bite into a burger to get the state change. So I'm still wrestling with that. And we'll see what happens with this coming week. Again, Thursday and Friday, I did use food and not the healthier option within my CPB diet challenge list of approved foods. It's like disappointing. I feel disappointed. But it is that, like, that is what is. There we go. One thing I've been thinking about as I have tiny snippets of bandwidth is what happens after the end of this 30 days. Because I don't think eating chicken, potatoes, broccoli, and carrots long term is, I don't think there's enough variety to get all of the nutritional needs. And I will want to eat more vegetables. Frankly, I have not been really eating the carrots. I don't like cooked carrots, and I'm not buying more carrots because I cooked all the carrots to eat the raw ones, and I don't really want the raw ones either, frankly. I will eat them for snacks, but I'm not going to have like a plate of hot food and then eat cold carrots. Just doesn't go. And the broccoli, I haven't really been eating that much broccoli because it takes too much time to cut up in order to put in the oven. The carrots, I just dump in water and boil. I don't have to be there. Potatoes, dump in water and boil. The chicken, the air fryer is killing it for me. Air fryer's winning. Or if it's minced, minced cooks up really fast. So the vegetables have been harder, not the potato, but the broccoli's been harder. At the beginning of the challenge, I bought pre-cut broccoli. It didn't taste that great, but today I've been literally thinking about like incentivizing my son or paying my son, who's 10, to prep the broccoli for me so that I don't have to worry about it. Because I do the oven roasted broccoli without any oil on it. Super good. I really enjoy eating that. When the diet allowed more options for vegetables, I think the woman in the video chose bok choy. I picked cabbage. It was really good. Again, oven roasted cabbage. I've done it with and without oil. Both are delicious. Also, like I want to steam some cabbage, make like cabbage noodle-y type. I just love cabbage. So the prep for the vegetables has made it harder to eat vegetables right now. But when I go back to my normal life and my normal schedule, I do think I will have time to cook the vegetables, and having the variety will really help because I do really like eating vegetables, and I like not eating the same vegetable every day. Potatoes, okay, I could eat those every day. So it's interesting that during this challenge, I'm actually eating fewer vegetables if you take out potatoes, which I'm counting as a carb. So they are very high in a lot of micronutrients, which I did not know. So looking forward to that. Looking forward to having more than one kind of meat to eat, but vegetables are the real thing I've not really been doing in the challenge. And again, looking at it globally, it's still a big win for me, so that's fine. I am taking multivitamin, zinc, vitamin D, vitamin C, and fish oil. So it's just a short period of time. I think it'll be fine. But maybe after this week, when I'm in the very last bit of my challenge and I'm done with the work plans, what I would like to do is spend some time planning meals that are within my macros and calories for the next couple weeks. And then I will consider doing another 30-day challenge that has like a more expanded range of food options, but still limited, so I don't go crazy and just gain back the weight that I've just worked so hard to lose. To just get more into like a healthy rhythm. And if I have everything pre-calculated before I need it that day, that really helps with like my stress level. If it's that day, then I might make bad decisions. But if I have it planned out ahead of time, it's a lot easier to just eat with the plan. So looking forward to adding back in cottage cheese. That way I can do cottage cheese and Greek yogurt and mix them together and make sauces. And cottage cheese is so good. Put it in my eggs, it makes them cheesy. All different options, the low-fat cottage cheese and the non-fat Greek yogurt. So there, I will really want to add back in my fermented foods, my sauerkraut and my kimchi. I have been missing those. I love eating them on my eggs at breakfast. Sourdough bread. I don't know if I'll bring sourdough bread right away, but I do miss that. Just that crunch of toasted bread. I'll keep the potatoes. I will consider adding in white rice or like cream of or oats. I might try oats, like savory oat breakfasts, and we'll see, with an egg on top. Like to add back in the lean ground beef. Sorry, I'm already eating ground turkey and the lean ground chicken. Those are all good. There are these chicken nuggets from Costco that are pretty good as far as the ingredients, though they do have canola oil, but everything else is pretty good. So I'd like to have that around so that if it's a busy day, I just have that available, and it's like, feels like a cheat meal, but it's not. And that's another really big, I guess, insight is you can make things that feel like a luxury or like a treat meal that are not. My putting the chicken breast in the air fryer and then eating it with like this warm, unctuous, luxurious Greek yogurt that's got, put like onion powder, garlic powder, whatever seasonings. If I had dill, I'd put dill in there. And I find that to be like as a dipping sauce, it's so satisfying. I feel like, you know, like what's a big, I'm trying to think of a dip. Anything that normally has mayo in it. Being able to get that feeling of, and you can use a lot of Greek yogurt, right? It's like pure protein. Not entirely, but it's just, the macros are insanely good. So I just love that I can eat like that, and it's pushing me towards my goals. There's a guy who has a YouTube channel called Flexible Dieting Lifestyle, and he's got all of these amazing recipes that feel like treat meals but are macro, insanely good macros. And just having one or two of those meals in the week makes it not feel like a diet. So I'd like to, for the next period, just expand slightly. I can have whatever vegetables I want. I can have Greek yogurt, cottage cheese, eggs, egg whites, all of the lean meats, my fermented foods, kefir. I've not had kefir. And then we'll see what happens with that. I think that's like a good expansion. I also really am struck, before when I was just eating healthfully, I would never, I'd go to the coffee shop every day to work because I work remotely and I like to work where there's an environment of a lot of people. It helps me to focus. Go to the coffee shop, I'd get my latte. That time it was caffeinated. And I would not even think twice with all the pastries or the chocolates. Not even think twice about it. It's just not what I eat. It's just not what I want. Not in my goals. No struggle, no problem. And now, I don't know if it's like a perimenopause thing, it's the visceral fat calling to the carbs and sugars. I don't know what it is. But now, I really want it. And over the past, I don't know, it's been like 4 or 5 months, I do want whatever treats they have at the coffee shop. And I find myself getting it, certainly more than I ever planned on and did previously. And I'm not exactly sure what changed. But I'm also considering, like, don't let the temptation take you down, right? If that's really what I want, a raspberry croissant, what if I just have a raspberry croissant every Saturday morning? I go to the coffee shop. Normally, my sister's out of town right now, but normally we meet up every Saturday with the kids, we go to a coffee shop, and it's just like a fun time that we have together. What if that's just my standing ritual is we go to the coffee shop and Saturdays only, I can have a pastry. I think I can fit that into my macros for the week and my calories for the week with no problem. So then the temptation no longer becomes something forbidden that's tantalizing and delicious. So that is something I'm thinking about doing. I also want to have planned meals with the family where we are going and having something out. That could be pizza, could be burgers, but just figuring out when the intervals are so that it's not based on a whim or a feeling. We're not going out because I'm stressed and I'm like, I don't feel like cooking tonight. We're going out because back in the day, we would go out every Friday. I don't think calorically I could probably handle that now in my lovely perimenopausal body, but maybe every other Friday, twice a month, just like a family dinner out. Then there's much less of a temptation to be wanting to do that all the time. So that's what I'm going to try out once we get to the end of this 30 days, and we'll see how it goes. But it's humbling, it's hard, it's sad, realizing how long this is going to take, really. And obviously, you want this to be a lifestyle that you can keep forever. I'm already very far along in the healthy eating spectrum. My problem is quantity. I'm just eating more than I should, even if it's a healthy thing. So practicing that enough so that or just measuring it enough times so that I know where I am for the day. It's crazy to me, watching people measure out all of their food and they're in a 200 calorie deficit. So it's like one big cookie, right? Or a half of a bagel throws off the whole calculation. It's so precise. And food is not precise. If you put a banana into MyFitnessPal, it's just there's a bunch of different sizes of bananas, right? And obviously you can weigh it by the gram and all that. That is just so much effort and math, and I don't want to do it. And that's why I picked this diet, because you don't have to weigh or measure anything. But if I can pre-weigh, pre-measure at the very end of this to prepare for the next 30 days. And I already have all that in my FitnessPal, and I know, okay, 1 scoop of Greek yogurt plus 1 chicken breast plus 2 eggs is this many calories, and these are the macros, and so that's just what I'm going to eat, and I can add in whatever vegetables I want because I'm not using any oil in the pan because it's a ceramic pan, and I use 1 tablespoon of bone broth. So I have everything like pre-calculated and ideally pre-measured in containers, but that way I minimize the friction of tracking and knowing what's happening. And if I just have like 4 meal options that I can just sort of rotate based on what I want for the day, that seems a lot more sustainable than measuring everything every day. Also, something I've noticed on the site is like, usually I'm kind of I'll just grab things like I'm getting, I don't know, like if I just see something lying around at the house, the temptation to like grab a little bite of it, I didn't realize how frequently I did that until I was no longer able to do that on this diet. So I'm not quite sure how I'm going to address that when this 30 days is over, but that is something that is on my radar. All right, that's what I have for today. I'll see you on the next one.